Hey everyone. So yesterday doing my walkthrough for my Rails app, it became evident that I had missed some key pages um, for my app. And basically it's the pages where an admin can um, create new bikes to put into inventory, right? So we've got a way to look at inventory. We've got a way to go in and edit the objects that are in the inventory, but there was no way up here to add anything. I'd already gone in, and I mean, it was one of the first things I did making the app was go in and make the pages to do all of this. If I go to bike/new, for example, right, we can do that. Should be able to. There we can add in new manufacturers. Now I didn't make, let's see if we did, yeah, I didn't make a new disciplines page. We might do that. I believe there's a new, but there's a new frames page as well. So basically all the new pages are already there. We just didn't give any way to get there other than typing in the address. So let's go in and fix that real quick. So I'm logged in over here with an admin user ID so that I can kind of see what the page looks like, and I'll go back to the home. Now these links up here are actually in this nav bar, which shows up, which we can get to through our layouts. Right there, and there's our edit inventory. So we're just going to real quick do a link to, I'm going to call it add inventory. And actually I don't want this to be next to transactions. I want it up here by view inventory. Oops. There we go. And then as far as the path, I've kind of made these custom paths to get me where I need to go. So I'm just going to keep following that. So I'm going to call this the admin add path. Oops, admin base add path. So this base controller is kind of what helps take care of making sure that whoever's visiting these routes has admin privileges. And then we can also use the controller to route us to some of our basic pages as well. So let's go in here real quick and define. I want to call that add. Kind of want to just call it new. We can, even though we're not necessarily creating an object like we would in our other controllers, it would probably still be best to try and follow that RESTful convention. So let's go over here and let's change this to new. And then in my routes, I need to go ahead and add that route in. And it's nested inside this admin namespace. And I've got my base routes down here. As base new, that should do it. Okay, and we can always double check our routes here. Let me sort this down to let's do base, because there's not a whole lot of routes that have the word base in them, so this should be a pretty short list. And there we have it, admin base new is getting us to that page, to that admin inventory new. So then we just need to go into our view and under admin we have our base views. I'm going to make a new file, call it new, and this is my new page. So just a quick sanity check, make sure we're on the right path here. I've got a weird S in there. That'll drive me crazy, so let's fix that real quick. There we are. And this should take it, there we are. This is my new page. Okay, so that's working well enough. So now, something to think about here. This page basically just needs to give an admin access to everything that they can currently edit over here. Right? Now obviously these links are going to the wrong place. We need to just add in add here. And for right now, we know that disciplines isn't going to work, so I'm going to, so that I don't accidentally leave this in there, I'm just going to leave that as disciplines with no link for right now. And oh, yep, that's right, these are not plural, they should be singular. Add manufacturer. Oh, is it just, it's not add, or is it new? Let me see here. I'm getting my route names mixed up. Let's make this bigger so we can read it. Oh, apparently I didn't. Oh, I didn't filter that. Let's try that again. Okay, that's a little bit shorter. Where is my... Okay, so it's just, it's new admin manufacturer is what I want. And I don't like this. These manufacturers, this should not be reachable from the users. Let me go in and address that real quick, because that should have only been right here. I think the problem is right here I said bikes manufacturers frame only, and I gave it show and index, but then down here I made this other nested resource, and I think it's basically overriding some of this. Oh, actually I guess this isn't a nested resource, so let me think how I want to handle this. I should just be able to take out this one. let's go back to our routes real quick and just see if that cleared those up a bit. No, that broke that. Oh, I missed a comma. There we are. That's a lot less. And now, so the problem is that manufacturer / new was going to be reachable by from regular users, and we didn't want that. That should only be reachable through the admin, through that base controller, which is accessible through the admin login. Okay, so back to what we were working on. We got this. We got new admin manufacturer is what we want for our route, and we were working on that new page. I'm going to pull this up here so oh, I still have add in here. There we are. And so this should take us just like that. Simple enough. So real quick, let's just go ahead and make a disciplines page. So disciplines is it's a really simple model. It just has a name. There's nothing fancy to it. The disciplines gets associated with frames, and really from a user perspective, I didn't make a new disciplines page just because it seemed easiest to just do it as someone is making a new frame. They can choose whatever disciplines they want to associate with that frame, but they can also just use comma separated values down here and add in multiple disciplines, and it will create those disciplines. It'll do a finder create by actually, so it won't duplicate them if they accidentally created a new one, and it will associate them with that new frame. But let's go ahead and, just so we're following kind of convention, let's go ahead and make a simple page real fast. So that's going to get done under inside the views here. We've already got a disciplines folder. We just need to make a new file, and we'll call this new discipline, and we're going to end up having a form, and let me think here. This form is actually going to be for, so since the discipline controller is namespaced under admin, this is what that ends up looking like. So basically when this form gets submitted, it's going to go to that admin namespace and look for the disciplines controller. And also basically this is the arguments that are needed to generate the route properly, to tell the web app where to look for the controller at. So I made a little cheater helper where I can just say label text and the name and send it the field ID or this iterator right here, and that will take care of generating a label and the text field for it. Okay, and let's go to our disciplines controller. And we're just going to go ahead and make a kind of a dummy discipline. And I think I've already got validations in there for discipline that the name field can't be empty. Let's double check. Yeah, double validates that it's unique and present, so that's good. So let's just give this a whirl and see what happens. Oh, I don't think I didn't make a... did I do that wrong? Let me check. I think I got my syntax wrong here. Let me go under my admin views. Let's look at bikes. New. Oh, I put parentheses around it. It doesn't need the parentheses, it just needs the array. Let's try that again. Cannot be nil. Let's see. First of all, let's go to our disciplines controller. Oh, that's what's wrong. I put that new statement in the wrong spot. There's a disciplines controller under admin. And I can't spell, would be the other problem. And there we are, new discipline. If we try and create it, oh, I need to set up that as well. So let's see here. What are we doing? We're going to say actually before we go there we need to, looks like I've already got the discipline params set up. Those are set up for the update function, so that's good to go. So we just need to do the same thing. So that should get it created. If now we're going to make sure that it's valid. If it is, we want to redirect to where do we want to go to? I kind of think I want to just redirect back to that add inventory page. You know, again, I'm just thinking about from a user perspective and kind of workflow, like what would make sense. I don't think that's what it was called. And if the discipline's not valid, then we just need to render edit again. Let's go back, let's refresh this. There we are. Name can't be blank. Let's do crit racing as a discipline. And that takes me back there just fine. So now we can go ahead and fix this link. That would be right here. And I pluralized it again. And there we are. Simple enough. The other thing I was thinking about would be kind of nice is under bikes, it would almost be nice if we could simply say add bikes by manufacturer, or add bikes by frame type, maybe. Not quite sure where I would do this from, but let's play with that idea a little bit here. I'm going to add a new title. And so what I want to have here is basically just a list of, I want to put a list of all the manufacturers here, and here I want to put a list of all the frames. And so then if the user clicks on that link, it will take them, it'll basically auto-generate this bikes form, but with the appropriate manufacturer or frame already selected for them. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So let me think. For that, we need our base controller to give us a list of manufacturers. And we also need it to give us a list of frames. I'm going to do this. I'm not actually going to put the list item. Instead, it'll be indented a bit. So let's just put, for now, let's just put, we'll start easy. Make sure this is kind of what I'm looking for. Oh, that's right. Let's try that one more time. Yep, except we want a there we go. And let's just I can't quite put in the link just yet because I don't have a nice path to that. So what I need to do is put in a nested route. So let's go back over to our routes here and take a look at what we've got. Maybe I've already done that work. See, so I've got bikes. I have the ability to see bikes under manufacturers, but I don't have the ability to create or add bikes through the manufacturer. And same for frames. Actually doesn't have nested at all, so we can do that here. And I'm just going to add resources, bikes, something like that. Now if I were to look at my rake routes for manufacturers, we can see that we've got this, where's it at here? There we are. Admin manufacturers, manufacturer ID, bike/new. And that's basically what we're going to route these to, is this new admin manufacturer bike and new admin frame bike. Okay, so let's do that right here with just link to manufacturer name, and this was going to be new admin manufacturer bike, and we need to send it that manufacturer object. Same here, new admin frame bike. Let's see what we get. And we broke something. Where did I miss? Oh, I forgot to put in link 2 right here. Oh, and this should be path. There we are. And so now if we see what our route looks like down here in the bottom, it's manufacturer/1, which references to Trek, and manufacturer/2, which points to Specialized, and down here we're going to get frame/1/bike/new. So next we need to, when we click on these, this is going to route us to our bike's controller. So let's put a binding.pry here to catch this. Let's go ahead and give ourselves a little more room to see. Oh, clear is not a thing. Okay. So let's just look at our params real fast. So there we have the manufacturer ID showing up in the params. So obviously we're not always going to have a manufacturer ID coming through on this bike controller, but we need to catch it when we do, and we also need to catch it if there's a frame ID. So the way we're going to catch that is by checking params for something like frame ID and asking if that's nil. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say if it's not nil, then I need to create a bike. How do I want to do that? Let me think this through here. Manufacturer equals manufacturer dot actually, can I just do this? Bike equals bike.new. Maybe I can if I spell it right. Oh, right, because so bike doesn't actually have a manufacturer ID, it has a frame. So overall, so this really isn't going to work. We could make it by frame though. Huh. Let me think about that. What does my... Let me look at my new bike views. That's just rendering the form. What I could do here, so in my form where I'm rendering this, I actually just pull all manufacturers. So, and this is a partial, so I need to think about how I do this here. How about I just say, instead, manufacturers dot each do. Now when I render this form, I need to pass it my manufacturers. Like that. Now over here my controller, I simply need to say manufacturers Okay, so this kind of takes care of the case if we don't send a manufacturer ID. But in the off chance that we do send a manufacturer ID, what we can do we can still just say bike.new, but now I'm going to say that manufacturers simply equals that manufacturer.find oops. And we need to make this an else. Let's see how this does here. This is going to give me an error the first time, perhaps. and we can cheat. So it doesn't like what I did here, because when you do a manufacturer.find, it's just returning that single item. I'm going to bury it inside a list. And there we go. Now we can add a bike and it just shows us the trick items. Okay, so I'm going to do something similar for the frame ID. Actually, let me get back into so can we just do a bike equals, first of all, let's get our frame. Okay, and then can we just do bike equals frame.build, or frame.bikes.build. Frame dot. Huh. What's my association here? Oh, I don't have a has many bikes? Well, I should. Let's try that again. With that update. Frame equals bike equals frame.bikes.build. There we go. And now sure enough, we built the bike with that frame ID, and the bike has a manufacturer. So now we can kind of do that same little trick. We can say at manufacturers equals, and we'll bury it inside a list. Oops, I accidentally hit exit. Oh, well, I just need to build it in here. So let's go back to our bikes controller. Okay, so we just need to get that frame. b at bike equals bike dot equals frame dot bikes dot build, and we're gonna pass it that. You know, we could, since we're building it strictly by the frame, if we want to, we could just pass it an empty list for that manufacturer's. Let's see if that works like I think it should. It works. Not a big fan of it because we can't see what the current frame and manufacturer is set to, because that was just selected under the inside that those radio select buttons. So I mean, I could do this. Now if we refresh, it shows us that we've already selected Ben, so I think that's going to work for now. Have some other ideas, but anyway, I think that's going to kind of wrap up what I wanted to tackle inside this. Like I said, it was basically just getting this add inventory page and then adding in a nested creation so that users could create those bikes more easily with some of the information already filled out. So thanks for watching, and until next time.